Hey everyone, it's Kevin here. It is December 1st, and it's that time of year again where we all break out our list of favorite albums of the year. It's probably one of my favorite times of the year, actually, being a music fan, is seeing what everyone has considered their best listens, purchases, or what have it. So what I'm going to do for this process is my music hibernation's finally paid off. I finally have a concrete list of my top 50 albums of the year of 2011. So each week leading up to about Christmas time, seeing that there's 5 weeks, in December, starting today being December 1st, I'm going to do a breakdown of 10 per week. So the first week I'm going to do 50 through 41. And then next week I'll do 40 through 39, and then, it's going to follow after that. So you can kind of understand how I'm going to go about this. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys make your own list, and I can't wait to see that if those do pop up. Anyways, send me some feedback. There's probably some placement in these and you don't agree with, and I hope you do tell me where I messed up or what you like or what you didn't like, and that's always the fun of these, is critiquing and kind of judging each other's list, but in a fun and appropriate way, of course. And can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts about what I enjoyed the most this year. But anyways, let's start off with number 50. Now this is actually what I'm playing right now, and it's by Dirty Beaches. It's one guy, and he's a Japanese American, I believe, or not. I can't remember exactly what his name is, but pretty cool artwork. I love the front cover, and the back cover, of course. But it's a real basic album. It's kind of lo-fi, kind of creepy at times. It almost sounds like Elvis Presley's dead corpse singing or barking at you, howling sometimes. But it's got the purling hiss of a cassette tape, and it's pretty good. It's a nice find. Definitely worthy of my top 50, and it landed at the number 50 spot. The song we're hearing right now is called Lord Knows Best, probably the best cut from this album. But yeah, it's a fun listen. Nothing too extraordinary, but I do like it a lot. So that's, once again, Dirty Beaches, and the album is called Badlands. Yeah, that's right. Kind of a Bruce Springsteen style picture, and of course the name Badlands, we all relate that to Bruce Springsteen. So up next at 49, I have shown this before, and I know a lot of you guys, especially down in Canada, have a lot of love for this album. Landed in my 49 spot, and that's going to be Thurston Moore's solo project. It's Demolition Thoughts. This album was produced by Beck. And there's some pretty good songs on it. Some of it actually caught me by surprise. Benediction, the opening cut, is really great. It's probably my favorite song on the whole album. But if you do like Sonic Youth, Thurston Moore's main project, which I guess is going to be over soon because of the divorce with his wife, and then you'd most likely like this album too. I know he has a couple other solo albums out, but I would suggest probably starting here. It's most successful from what I've heard. But once again, 49, that's Thurston Moore, Demolished Thoughts, I'm sorry. Up next, we got 48. Now this one was kind of a letdown for me. I had high hopes for it. Been a fan of this group for a long time, dating back to high school years. Have a couple releases that are in my top albums of all time, but this one was not what I was expecting. There's a couple gems on the album, but overall it's kind of a lackluster effort, and they try to do something that I wasn't really comfortable hearing, but nonetheless it made the list, and like I said, there are some gems on it. So I did find this spot at 48, and that's Bright Eyes, The People's Key. There's some spoken word on this. Southern Gentleman is kind of talking about aliens and life and alternate universes and stuff like that, and it kind of gets to be annoying at times. I mean, at first it's kind of cool because Connor's always had this little opening speech at the beginning of albums, which is always unique and nice to hear, and it's kind of fun. You expect that, but after hearing it like 2 or 3 other times throughout the album, it just kind of breaks up the album and doesn't really get the momentum or rhythm that you would like. It just kind of breaks it up into a place where it becomes an annoyance. But once again, 48, Bright Eyes, The People's Key. So 47, got this. This is their sophomore release. Not much to say about this band. Kind of just a pop punk indie band. Some really good songs on it. Some really nice riffs. Really memorable choruses, but pretty basic lyrics, and it's a fun listen. I really do like it. I do enjoy it, but you have to definitely be in the mood, like a happier mood, to be spinning this record. That's going to be The Pains of Being Pure at Heart, Belong. Once again, the sophomore release. I love the artwork here, but there's some really good cuts on it, like Heaven's Gonna Happen Now, Heart in Your Heartbreak. I mean, some really good songs, but once again, like I said, you have to be in the mood for that. And right now, with it not being summertime, it's fall time out here, almost winter, more in the mood for other stuff. But this is a great album for, like I said, being in the sun and summertime. Once again, 47, Pains of Being Pure at Heart, Belong. 46, we got an album that I thought I was going to be obsessed with for so long when I heard the first single late last year. The single was called The Weekend. I hated this band's original release. I can't even remember what it's called, but their debut was garbage. It was not very good. I was completely surprised by how much more grown up this band sounded on this album. They are still pretty young, but the first song, Weekend, is a really great song, really good pop song, almost along the lines of Pains of Being Pure at Heart, and that's going to be at 46. We have Smith Western's Die a Blonde. They kind of got this 80s feel. I mean, even if you see them, you can just tell that they have, the hairdo and everything. They're pretty young guys, and they make pretty good music. But it becomes a little monotonous after a couple listens. But like I said, fun, more for the summertime. But it did, have some good moments throughout the year for me. Favorite song would be "Fallen in Love" off it, and "Weekend" the single is just such a great song. First song on the album, and just opens it up the right way, and it's really great. So that's once again 46, Smith Western's Die a Blonde. Now 45, kind of surprised how low this album fell. I gave it a whole bunch of spins, and a lot of you might not agree with me here. I love this guy, one of my favorite artists of all time. But this album just wasn't as great to me as his past albums. But that's okay. It's still a good album. I love it a lot. That's going to be 45. We got Tom Waits, Bad As Me. There we go. Now, I'm probably going to have to give it some more listens, but, I gave it at least 6 to 7 listens, and, it just landed at the spot. I do like it a lot, don't get me wrong. The single, Bad As Me, is awesome. It's one of his best songs I've heard in a long time by him. I mean, he has a pretty expansive catalog, but I tend to like the more earlier years of Tom Waits, Heart of Saturday Night, Closing Time. But I do love Rain Dogs, and I do love Mule Variations, and Orphans as well, which isn't really an album, but it is a nice thing to have, and I do enjoy listening to it. But maybe over time, maybe throughout next year, I'll listen to this more, but as of right now, that's going to be Tom Waits. At 44, a lot of people will have this on the top of their year list, but I tend to actually have it a little bit lower, and that's probably going to surprise some people, but just wasn't as amazing as I thought it should be to be in the top 10 or even though. But I do like it. It is a great album. I think it's one of her best. I've liked her since I started college, but that's going to be PJ Harvey, Let England Shake. Great picture of her right here. Key tracks on this: The Gracious Land, Hanging in the Wire. I really like those cuts, but it's once again PJ Harvey, Let England Shake. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be disagreeing with me on my placement there, but that's okay. Now this album I was expecting a lot from too. When I first heard East Harlem, I thought it was a really great single. I had high hopes for this album, but I do like it a lot, and landed at the 42 spot, and that's going to be Beirut, The Riptide. Now this album's pretty great. It's got a lot of different instruments to it, so it's got a unique texture to it. It's, there's a whole bunch of, you just read it on the back of it, there's so many different instruments played on it. So it's a unique sound, it's a lot to take in, but it is a great album. One album that you do kind of have to listen to over and over again to finally let it sink in, but I did enjoy it a lot after a couple spins, and I still do enjoy it, and that's at 42. Beirut, the Riptide. And the last album I'm going to do right now is going to be one that I just saw recently at the Hollywood Bowl. I saw them actually with Smith Westerns, Arctic Monkeys, and Warpaint. And this is a band that I've loved for so long. Their first two albums first two really critically acclaimed albums were amazing. Dear Science from, I believe, 09, and Return to Cookie Mountain, which I think was 08 or 07, I'm not sure on that, but two phenomenal albums. This one had a lot of hype building up to it, and it's a great release. I really like it. There's some really strong songs on it, but I think just seeing them live for the third time, each time getting kind of worse. I just don't think they're that great of a live band, but they do put out some really awesome albums, really great production on this album, and that's going to be 9 Types of Light by TV on the Radio. I mean, the first two songs that they came out with was Will Do and Caffeinated Consciousness. Those are really great, probably two of the best songs they've ever written, and they have some really great songs, so, you know, great placement there. But anyways, this is an album that just doesn't really live up to the rest of what they've put out, so maybe I kind of put that little bit of hardship on it, but it is a great release, and if you do want to get into TV on the Radio, I do suggest starting there, but this is a fine starting point as well. But anyways, that's all I have for now. Once again, at 41, TV on the Radio, wrapping it up for now. That's called 9 Types of Light, and next week I will have number 40 through 31, so stay tuned, and I appreciate you guys' viewers and comments and everything and all subscriptions, and I can't wait to hear your guys' list. Alright, see you later.